Hey guys, I've been sort of taking a break on this channel, so now that I'm back, I'm changing up the format a little bit. Apparently people like seeing collection wars and faces and stuff, so since this channel is pretty much, like, dead, I thought I'd change things up and see how that goes. So anyway, for those of you who might have seen my previous video talking about the Black Series, I've been complaining about the Hasbro Black Series figures and how crap they are compared to Bandai counterparts, and then people are like, oh, you can't compare import prices and stuff. Remember, Hasbro's import for me, it's the other way around. That's why I took the original prices from each side of the planet and compared them that way. Now, of course, the SFX stuff is more premium and it's more expensive, but that doesn't excuse how crappy the Black Series stuff is compared to, say, other brands that are also in the West. Yes, there are some really good figures coming out the West, namely NECA. I'm surprised it's taken me this long to finally get to NECA stuff, but sometimes it's quite hard to get NECA stuff in Hong Kong because there's no distributor here, and that can get quite annoying to pick up certain figures. And what we're taking a look at here today, you can only see in the title, yoink, are these 4 awesome 90s movie turtles. They're way better than whatever Michael Bay can pump out his mind, because he's So I was born in the 90s. These characters are pretty much as old as me. Ugh. Before we take a closer look, I just want to say that trying to get these figures has been a roller coaster of emotions. First, they were announced they were at a quarter scale. I was still quite excited to see the photos and like, wow, these figures look awesome. But I have no space for a quarter scale figure. I also didn't want to spend that much money on quarter scale figures because I'm trying to focus on a certain range. These are too big, too expensive. Still, I was pleased that they were getting some love. These are the only good movie turtles out there. After that, they announced that they will release these in 1/12 scale. Perfect, my scale line. Where would they be released? Comic-Con in a limited amount. So then I was sad again. But then I was happy again because a certain amount of that Comic-Con stock would get released on the NECA website. I contacted my cousins in America, say, hey, can you order this for me, please? Got a little bit excited, but of course those sold out in a microsecond because bots buying. That's just... After a few months, it was announced that, hey, you know what? These are coming to GameStop with a few accessories missing. I was like, fine, I don't need a full pizza accessory. I can get those from other sources. I just really wanted these turtles. Got excited again, my cousins ordered it for me, and then my cousins brought it to me finally in Hong Kong right now. Really pleased. When NECA first began, some of their figures did seem a little bit odd, a little bit off, but they've been improving with every release that they've done, and I think these are really awesome, especially at that price point, which is similar to the Black Series. Skipping packaging on these videos recently, but with these turtles I just gotta go through it. These do not follow the old VHS tape design of the packaging like the Comic-Con exclusive. There's still elements of it on the box, from the turtles spying up from the bottom there, to the sort of green outlines on the side with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles following the font, to the NECA logo on the back of the box. I used to have that VHS tape, but I can't find it anymore. It might have gone moldy at some point because Hong Kong's very humid. I think there was a long time ago, where I checked out a lot of old VHS tapes because, you know, they went moldy or weren't interesting anymore. But that's fine, I have the movie on HD now, so I'm quite happy with that. And on one side of the box, you can line up all 4 of them together. It'll look nice on the shelf. It's one big picture, looks great. One downside of these boxes is that the top is just going to keep opening and popping off. I recommend you opening it up from the bottom instead of the top. When you move these turtles from the plastic tray, they originally had like a little wire strap just tying them down. That's really unnecessary since the hands and the feet do go through the tray, so it keeps them in place. It's tightened in quite well. All of them have 2 spare hands, which also peg in quite well. This one's just this because I've played with it already. For some reason, like, all of these weapons have these pieces covering it, which to protect it, I get it, but there's also usually sellotape around it as well. That seems very pointless. There's also sellotape around here as well, which is, again, just pointless. This isn't really falling out anywhere. And when it's in the box, it holds this plastic thing down anyway, so... Taking a close look at the figures, for the most part, they share the same molds. All the way up to the body, they've got the same arms, same legs, same front shell, torso part of the body. On the back though, Michelangelo shares the same shell mold as Leonardo, whereas Donatello shares the same shell as Raphael. But of course, on top of that, Raphael's shell has more scars and scratch marks on it, making him, in terms of all the four brothers, the most unique in terms of body molding. Other than that, because I have the excellent faces molded on 4 of these, this is really important to capture, and these look amazing. Despite being puppets and animatronics, one of the hardest thing that these figures would have been able to do is capture the likeness, expressions, and the feel of the original 4 turtles from the movie. And these 4 heads just look absolutely amazing and close to the movie itself. When I first picked up these figures and when I first saw them in the photos from the promo shots, I was like, yep, these are the movie turtles. I just have to get them. I saw an article online mentioning how the original suits were bought by a collector and were being restored just an hour's drive away from the NECA offices when they were designing these figures. So not only were they able to get photo references from the movie, but they were also able to go in and directly scan the original suits used in the film almost 30 years ago. So that's pretty awesome, and you can definitely tell from these figures, they look excellent. While the facial expressions are excellent, they're great, I do wish they also come with a spare head with no emotion, like just a flat expression. Just makes it easier to take different poses, different photos, but luckily that the expressions that they did choose are still quite versatile. The body details are also excellent. I like how some of their straps and protective gear does hide some of the joints. That's pretty awesome. And I also like that these straps are not fully glued onto the figures themselves, only partially glued down to allow for better articulation and moving bits and pieces out the way if you need to. I also like that for the most part they don't use those ugly peg joint system that a lot of Western toys seem to use. The only place where they do this is on the lower leg, but for the most part that is somewhat hidden by the knee pads, which is cool. And even when you do see it, it's not too noticeable because the color of the joint is the same as the rest of the body's plastic. Paint-wise on the turtles, they also look very excellent. The little spots on their skin look great. Again, just like in the movie, the green looks awesome. The rendering on the straps also look pretty decent as well. The paint job isn't perfect, however, as some parts of the figures seem to suffer from some sort of shiny, glossy effect. I guess they found a matte finish that they applied to the rest of the figure wasn't applied evenly, so that can be a bit annoying. I guess that could be an easy fix just by going through with a little bit of some clear matte acrylic just to stop that shininess. It's not too bad on most of them, but my Raphael is suffering the most, especially around the back of his neck where it gets really shiny. It looks like he's wet. I keep trying to dry it, but it doesn't dry. It doesn't dry. The problem with Raphael's eye strap there, it's glued on slightly off-centered, so you can still see a bit of the glue there as well. So I guess I have to use hot water, hair dry something just to melt that glue and reposition the head strap myself, because it's getting quite distracting. And for these sort of like near perfect looks of the turtles, I really need to fix that. It looks like he's constantly looking to this side, but he's not. The painting isn't completely perfect, however, as the weapons do seem a little bit faded and a little bit less detailed than the rest of the figures, but again, it's not too noticeable since the turtle will be either holding them or placing them in little like pouches and straps, so it's not too bad. Sticking the swords into the back pockets for Leonardo is not that great. There's a little bit on the end. There's sort of, I'm guessing, meant to grip the swords. There's a little bit of a pop sound when you push it all the way in, but these swords seem very fragile and I don't want to do that. Fortunately, if you don't stick them all the way in, they don't fall out and stays in there quite well, but I don't know, just be very careful with these swords. They seem very thin, very soft, very fragile. Just be careful. With Raphael, his two sides stick in his front pouches very easily. That's absolutely fine. Michelangelo's nunchucks just sort of sit in the side of his pouches, but they can fall out. It's just sort of resting in there, but if you knock the figure around, they will fall out and you can lose them. His nunchucks use like 2 pieces of string to hold them together, which is better than a metal wire, because while metal wire is good for posing, they will also break quite easily just after a few different poses. So having some string here is okay, and for the most part you can hold it up. If you do really want to pose them in more of an action pose, you can add your own metal wire in there. Donatello's bow staff is okay. It's probably the less detailed one out of the bunch. It's probably the least detailed one out of the bunch. The paint job's just a bit faded around the strings and straps in the middle, and the rest of the stick just doesn't really look like wood. It looks like brown plastic. That's not very good. Another thing is crap on the back of my Donatello. The way they tied the straps together, there's a little bit of a string there that holds it down, and if you're not careful, that string can pop out of its like little knot. So I'm gonna have to get like a sewing needle and just like push it back through, and that's a little bit annoying. In terms of other accessories, they of course have the more action-packed or in the wind style eye straps, and all four of them are different molded. The pizza slices are also all different molded and have a little bit of the tomato sauce just seeping through around the edges. It's a little bit excessive for the accessory, but it's still cool nevertheless. Each turtle also comes with an extra pair of hands, aside from their usual sort of kind of fist-like item holding hands that they already have. Michelangelo comes with 2 thumbs up hands, Leonardo comes with some relaxed hands, Donatello comes with 1 finger up, which kind of looks like middle finger or thinking pose, and Raphael just has some spray open and spare hands. All 4 of these turtles of course have the exact same articulation. Apparently the articulation here is a little bit better and more than the quarter scale ones. I can't confirm that, I don't have it, but from what I've read online, that these ones have more and better articulation than those bigger ones. So he has a single ball joint for the top of the neck, and when you do that, you do see a cut off there, but you just say, hey, that's just the suit. But for the most part, you're not going to see that too much. And there's a round peg for this piece here that you use to swap with the alternative piece. Arms go up. This joint is hidden quite well for the most part, and it's a rotating joint here. Unfortunately, there's no upper arm joint for more articulation. Instead, they've done that with the elbow joint where you can rotate it and move it there. When these turtles first come out, they are quite tight, but after playing them around for a while, they get a bit better, and you can do more poses. This is a double elbow joint with a rotation here, so they can still cross their arms around. Hands are on a little peg and swivel joint, and hidden is the upper torso joint, where they can have just a little bit of articulation here. They can rotate it just a bit, left and right just a little bit, and I won't say really up down, it's just like a millimeter of up down articulation on top body there. So yeah. Shell is soft plastic, by the way. And then onto the leg. Now a lot of American toys seem to like to cut it here, and that's just really ugly and nasty, and I'm glad they didn't do that here. I'm glad a lot of NECA toys don't do that. Instead they've done the Japanese thing where they actually have a joint in there, so you go up and down. I can go up, but you can sort of go, I think, quite a lot there. A little bit scary to do that, but it can. And just move that down. It's a little bit of there's a bump in the joint. You can rotate it up here. So you do that, it's covering up for the most part. It can get a little bit ugly when you do that. A little bit of a gap there, but it's honestly not that bad. Legs go up, and got a double knee joint. And foot is on a peg and also swivel. So that's cool. And that holds the bottom feet as well as the Made in China stamp on the bottom there. So yeah, pretty good articulation. Quick shot of our new Leonardo here, standing next to the FlicKr Leo, which from the toy fair, it seems like that the NECA cartoony turtles are also like about a head shorter than the movie ones, so that's great. That means my FlicKr turtles can eventually battle the NECA version of Krang and Shredder and the Foot Soldiers. Awesome. Black Series, Revan there, Figma, Deadpool, and a figurized standard Goku there. Overall, these movie turtles are just excellent, just awesome, and I love them a lot. Never would I thought that I would be able to see these turtles in figure form at this scale after all these many years. And this is one of the things I really hate, the way Playmate has the rights and has a tight grip on it all when they don't produce any good toys at all. They try to produce cartoon style figures. They kind of looked the part, but then the overall construction just wasn't that good, and the price at that price point, it was just terrible. And then the line ended because they weren't that attractive. And then their so-called movie style stuff is just the same plastic, reusing the same molds over and over again, and just coloring it slightly darker and then calling it a day. And it looks nothing like the movie. No matter what packaging they tried to push it off as, it just wasn't right. So I'm so happy NECA was able to step in and actually make some good movie turtles, as well as make some good animated series figures as well that are going to be coming out now. I really hope we get a Splinter figure at some point. I really hate license deals and trademarks that monopolize a certain company to do whatever they want with a franchise. It's just really irritating. Look how well that turned out with Star Wars and EA. And while it's great we finally were able to get NECA to produce these figures, and also being able to purchase them more easily, they're still limited and exclusive to certain stores, so it's not the best for everyone. Still, if you're a Turtle fan, you should definitely check these out. So yes, overall, Leonardo is awesome, Michelangelo is righteous, Donatello is bossa nova, and Ralph is, damn, I forgot that line. In conclusion, if you're a Turtles fan, you definitely need to pick these up. If you can't get them in GameStop anymore, the eBay prices aren't too bad, but they're definitely going to go up very quickly, I think. I really look forward to the Shredder and Foot Soldier being shrunk down to 1/12 scale. And of course, I think they was kind of hinting that they were doing a Splinter, because we really need a good Splinter figure after all these years at the 1/12 scale. We don't have any good Splinter at that size. Not even the cartoon versions, they're just no good. As always, finally, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it useful, hope you liked the review, and as always, the box art and photo shoot of the figures can be seen in the video description below. Not posting to FlicKr anymore because there's a size limit unless I make a new FlicKr account with a different email, then I can start uploading there again. Might do that later, but you can still find the photos on Facebook, Tumblr, Imgur, and some of the other pages, and you can just do whatever you want with them. Hope you guys like this newer review format where I'm just trying to change things up a little bit, because why not? I'm just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. As always, you can support this channel by clicking the like button or dislike button and leaving a comment below on what you think about these figures. And as always, you can also share this video with other people or head over to the Patreon link and support it that way if you want to. As always, take care, have a nice day. I'll see you guys soon. Cowabunga.